Hi, I'm Ramli Ibrahim, dancer, choreographer, teacher, and chairman of Sutra Foundation based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Thank you, TEDxSunwayUniversity, for inviting me to speak on the presence of power. The concept of power is as complex as multivalence in its manifestations. Like beauty, the charisma of power is understood within the mind of the specific individual who experiences a close encounter with this phenomenon. The impact of power is dependent on and is relative to the right time as well as place. Power is associated with a vital force which inhabits an individual, a space, or even an object of veneration. It can also refer to a force of energy like tsunami or earthquake emanating from nature. It can gather force within a group of people to represent a collective energy of a community or even a nation. Power is never everlasting. It may manifest suddenly and leave as abruptly. When an entity loses the force or energy that made it powerful in our eyes, it loses completely the aura which previously had made it interesting to us. With this in mind, let us delve deeper into the understanding and representation of power in the Asian psyche. From the Hindu perspective, power is potentially creative and represents the potential energy within. At the mythic level, it is recognized as Shakti or Sakti. Shakti is metaphorically presented as a female energy and principle. In its primal stage, this energy exists as a coiled serpent, Kundalini, energy located at the base of the spine. When stirred through the proper yogic practices and meditation, the Kundalini uncoils, rises, and activates the psychic centers or chakras, causing them to become fully charged. Gaining further energy, it ultimately and metaphorically blooms as a 1,000-petal lotus. Herewith, the blockages are cleared. The individual experiences epiphany. Without this Shakti, the gods of the Hindu pantheon are inert until energized by their respective Shaktis. Take, for example, the supreme god Shiva. His interest in participating in the world is withdrawn, if not for the energized presence of his consort, Shakti. This creative female power is the incentive to spur Shiva to move, to create and participate in the cosmic play of Maya, which is regarded as the web of illusion. Without this creative power of Shakti, Shiva ceases to indulge in and ceases to be intoxicated by his own dramatic romance with his consort Shakti. Verily, this Maya is also the Leela, the play of the cycle of life, preservation, death, and rebirth, together with the rhythm of seasons. The universe never stops turning. Influenced by this concept of Shakti are many Indonesian wayang and traditional theatres, where the most powerful male characters of the Mahabharata or Ramayana are all invested with Sakti. The good guys are usually depicted as halus characters, refined in mannerism, speaking in delicate voices, moving confidently, unhurriedly, and almost femininely. They are unperturbed by the dangers which surround them, unlike the kasar and the raucous demon types who demonstrate their animalistic traits and are evil personified. They will eventually be vanquished and destined to lose their powers. Halus and kasas should not be mistaken as a representation of gender, but rather the quality of the personality. As such, evil female characters can also be kasar. But can this power be lost in the way that it is bestowed? It is believed that when a powerful leader loses control of himself, when he brags and demonstrates his power, he abuses this sacred presence of Sakti. This will lead him to lose the very power that protects him. Here is another concept. Traveling up the Malay archipelago, power is always associated with semangat. Semangat is the vital force which inhabits a person, a place, or even an object of veneration, such as the keris or the Malay dagger. A person with a strong semangat inspires confidence in others. He is not easily frightened off. He is powerful both physically and spiritually, and is able to fend for himself from the bad influences of illnesses or evil spirits. The belief that even a place has potential power or semangat is not exceptional to the Malays. In the Indian tradition, Tirtha describes a place which possesses great power. This can be a temple, a water body, or even a sacred tomb of a saint. Among our Orang Asli, it can even be a mound or a busut jantan. It is akin to how one might describe how a place emanates a certain vibration which affects one's psychic state. This is energy, vibes, or power. The belief that spirits or metaphysical energy is found in all forms of life or even in matter is no longer a far-fetched notion as once perceived. Present studies have proven that even trees can communicate with one another, and animals have the capability to express love or even experience extreme distress before being slaughtered. Ironically, during these times of artificial intelligence and digital life, many vestigial beliefs from our animistic past are experiencing a revival, especially with New Age groups. So how about artists? Where is the presence of power within the artist? Power within is a great gift of the first order, not to be taken lightly. The fulfillment of an artist's life may depend on it. Its luminous quality can be gleaned from the duende of a gypsy flamenco dancer, the taksu of a Balinese dancer, or the angin of a Matyong Sri Panggung. These qualities emanate from the calling of the artist, a primal gift, an artistic temperament that is both instinctive as well as intuitive. This creative power has the ability to stir and invigorate the gut in the belly. As the energy rises, the solar plexus, it sets the senses on fire, simultaneously alighting the artist with an almost divine presence during a performance. It is that quality which causes the audience to become enraptured when a powerful artist enters a stage. Suddenly, the space is energized many folds. Time stands still and space becomes fluid. The artist transforms and opens the floodgate for the audience to experience liberation from the mundane existence. Yes, a costume, a headdress, or a mantra is all that is needed, and the transformation is complete. The dancer artist is on another higher plane, not quite human. This vestigial phenomenon recalls a time when the original shaman was himself a performer par excellence. This is tacitly understood that a shaman has to perform his best in order to effect a healing. And what if an artist ignores this powerful calling? Then this divine calling will curse and torment him with a wretched life bereft of fulfillment. But heed it, and it will transport him on an adventurous journey of exploration with his creative talents and a life fully lived. On the flip side, the presence of power can be a catalyst that rouses the monster within. Even more desirable than money, power corrupts. And when absolute power corrupts, it does so absolutely. During the course of human history, there were ample instances where godly prophets, benign rulers, charismatic artists, as well as the most immoral charlatans had presided and reigned, and they still do. They manipulated and influenced with the powers they had been invested. For better or for worse, they were able to hold sway and stir the imagination of the people. Collectively, the world reaped the consequence of their influence. Whether they had inspired us to be better humans or had led us to descend into the dark pits of violence and barbarism, they inevitably left their imprints on history and our minds. The presence of power alone is neither good nor evil. Only the individual that wields it can, through its positive exploitation, achieve the entrusted benefits which should be for the good of all. We have witnessed from time to time that humans, as a society, need this positive side of this power to radiate not only from the bottom of the pyramid, but also from the very top, so as to evolve collectively into an informed and civilized society. When power is present, it must also be positively harnessed. This presence of power, described as Mangat and Shakti, presiding in mutual synergy within the artist and audience, and the politicians and the Rakyat, illustrates the vital synergy we need for a system of governance to work. It is the power that marshals the collective energy of the Rakyat with the political will to catalyze the real change within a system which is fundamentally mired with problems. Power without integrity or knowledge, or without wisdom and noble intent to serve, is squandered. Not unlike the malignant black goddess Kali, who is a form of Shakti, when she runs amok, while Shiva lays withered and impotent as a mere shava or corpse. In the Balinese tradition, the evil power of the widow witch Calonarang is deflected by the galumphing entry of the good mythic Barong. We must be vigilant that the wisdom of the public voice and conscience must be heard and prevail. Otherwise, the rabbit case would be downright detrimental to the Rakyat. Thank you.